Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. It is the Toronto. My name, of course, is Scott Toronto. It is a Thursday here in cold New England. Week 13 of the NFL season has come and gone. And while we had a lot of good action, unfortunately, it was another mistake-riddled and stupidly poorly coached loss for the New England Patriots here locally. If you think I'm going to let Jerod Mayo off the hook now, you're sadly mistaken. We will start with that. Then we go all the way back to Thanksgiving to cover the rest of the league in the old rapid fire rundown segment. After that, it's ones to watch in week 14, where I managed to scrape together four games that I think will be interesting in the week 14 slate. And finally, I will delve into the Juan Soto sweepstakes in Major League Baseball. Celtics and Bruins, they get a break from me this week, but it's the Toronto Dome, and it starts right now.
I know Tom. Oprah knows Tom.
We couldn't do diddly poo offensively.
Come after me!
Stedman knows Tom.
We couldn't run the ball. We didn't try to run the ball. We couldn't complete a pass. We sucked.
Oprah knows my wife.
I'm not a pessimist. I'm an optometrist.
We're all friends.
Because it's garbage. And the editor that let it come out is garbage. I'm a man. I'm 40.
So why not have a dinner?
53 seconds to go. Bergeron shuts. I got so much trouble on my mind. Not my fault that they're falling off.
But I gotta tell you, it's frustrating as hell to be a Red Sox fan right now. And this is gonna continue until this ownership either changes its attitude or sells the team. Well, welcome to Toronto Dome. And I don't see either one of those things happening anytime soon.
I'm sorry to hear that, but I'm ready to
Jason Tatum me already.
So, guys, welcome into the show. My name, of course, is Scott. This is the Toronto Dome. We're fast approaching. I believe we may be just on the doorstep of 50 episodes since I brought this baby back. So I appreciate you all for sticking with me. A ton of support lately. The YouTube comments have been wonderful to see. Some people have been extremely kind about that stuff. Of course, half of these episodes, my buddy Josh Morris certainly helps me look better than I probably am, right? And I can't thank him enough for that. He won't be the only guest on the show, by the way, folks. We will be bringing more people to the table as we go along. Eventually, we will get back to 2-episode weeks here, especially once football gets into the playoffs, really. But in the meantime, we're going to keep doing our normal thing here. I'm going to start with the New England Patriots. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I have had it with this damn team. I have had it, and I'm not quitting on them because that's my team. I've been watching them since 1997. That's my team. Okay? I was a wee little lad about yay high, not even high enough to get up to the table, this tabletop right here. I'm not going to go on too much into the recap of this game. All I will say is they had no business losing this game to the Indianapolis Colts, which they did. Indy wins it 25-24. They improved to 6-7. The Patriots drop to 3-10. The Patriots had every opportunity to win this game and continued to give it away. And the Colts knew they couldn't stop them. And at the end of this game, they went on a 19-play drive, converted 4 third downs and 2 more fourth downs, got a 3-yard touchdown pass to pull within 24-23. And they said, screw you guys. We're not even going to go to overtime. We're going to run it right at your biggest guy on the line. And we're going to get the 2-point conversion and we're going to beat your asses on the road. And that's exactly what they did. Bottom line, takeaways from this game is this, because I've had it. It's breaking down which stupid way did they lose this week? What stupid crap did they do? It was a myriad of things. At least in the Miami game the week before, they just got their asses handed to them. But this one should have won the game. You should have won the damn game. You controlled most of it. Other than the Colts opening drive, you controlled most of this game. But yet, stupid crap over and over again. Penalties when your offense is in the red zone on your offensive line. And then you got the head coach who's a genius. Yeah, we're going to get into that because we always do on this show. It's like my favorite two things are ripping Jerod Mayo, the head coach of the Patriots, and ripping John Henry, the owner of the Red Sox, although I am not going to do that later. I'm going to take a complete 180 on that one. But this is a joke. They find new ways every week. And then you got the coach coming out and saying, oh, well, Layden Robinson, the new guard that we put in, the new left guard we put in, he had his best game of the season. And then Pro Football Focus ranks him the worst offensive lineman in football for week 13. I can't make that up. That actually happened. But all of these penalties during crucial situations, this is what bad teams do. Bad teams find ways to lose games, guys. So 3-10 for the New England Patriots. I will say this, the best throw of the day once again comes from your quarterback, Drake May. This kid is going to be special. Do not screw this up. Patriots, Robert Kraft, we're looking up there at you. If you can see us from your elevated seat up there in the owner's box, pal, we're looking at you because you have put nothing around this kid to help him succeed, and yet he continues to do it anyway. The kid is brilliant. The throw to Austin Hooper in the second quarter for the 16-yard touchdown was brilliant. This kid is special. He's a leader. He was mic'd up on Sunday. They were going nuts for this kid on the sidelines, and he just goes, what a catch by Hooper, huh? At bare minimum, you got the guy, right? You got the guy. You got nothing to help him, but you got the guy. Oh, and Christian Gonzalez is pretty good, too. When Christian Gonzalez picks the ball off with 7 minutes and 52 seconds left in the game and you're up by multiple possessions, you should win that game. Joey Slye misses a 25-yard field goal. Well, after the Colts scored, we gave him a chance to take a kick, a 68-yarder, and he almost made that. Wow, that is just so impressive. Guys, that is so impressive. You know what happened on that final drive on defense? Third down play, Colts tight end traps the ball, right? Ball hits the ground. It's not a catch. But Jerod Mayo doesn't want to sacrifice his timeouts. It doesn't want to throw a flag. In fact, Mayo also pulled his punches on calling another timeout that he should have called earlier on in the game. He was asked about it after the game, and his answer will absolutely.
Coach, was there any thought to taking a timeout maybe earlier in the drive where the Colts ultimately scored, and what was the thought process?
Absolutely, there was a thought. We've also won a Super Bowl here doing it the other way, and keeping our timeouts is what I thought was best for the team.
So, first of all, you jackass, you didn't do bleep to do with that effing timeout call in that Super Bowl. You were even on the damn field at that point in your career. How dare you? First of all, you dope. And then you're like, oh, that was the thought process. We won a Super Bowl in a completely different situation years ago. So I thought, maybe we should save our timeout. You idiot. And I'm pretty sure what they're referring to there is down on the goal line late right there as they were about to go in to score. They had an opportunity to call timeout there, and they didn't do it, right? Because the Patriots still had one timeout left when they got the ball back after the Colts took the lead with 12 seconds to go. So anyway, just thought that he was a complete dope jackass for saying, oh, that was my thought process right there. The bottom line is this with this head coach. Oh, look, my lights came back. By the way, my lights are going to go in and out in the background. Just so you're aware, should have replaced the light bulb before I started this. My bad. But yes, I just let the light bulb went on and I lost my train of thought. Isn't that odd? Don't worry, it'll go back out. There it goes. But this guy doesn't have a thought in his head when these games are going on. I can't believe he was a defensive captain. I can't. What I did find out is that he was never the signal caller for the defenses, which I should have known from back in the day, having watched me. You watch so many of these games over so many years. Sometimes you lose some detail. This guy doesn't have a clue. And he's not doing anything to make this team better during games. I'm not sure what he's doing to make this team better in between games either. So I've had it with this, but I can tell you what. It started in the Boston media. Some guys are starting to say, well, hang on, maybe there's a small chance he's not back next year. Guys, he's back next year. Mayo is coming back next year, and I'm willing to bet that almost everybody on the coaching staff is too. Maybe Elliott Wolf, your de facto GM, he may be gone because he could have done more with this roster. He certainly had the cap space to do it. But the bottom line is this. You are in full rebuild mode. You can obviously tell they are punting on this year. Not even doing it intentionally. They're just so inept and stupid that this kind of crap is happening. This is what happens. Bad teams find ways to lose, and good teams like the Minnesota Vikings find ways to win. This is not going to change anytime soon, but at least you got the quarterback. So in week 14, thank God the Patriots have a bye. Now, for more in-depth, stupid coaching, we bring in the rapid-fire rundown, and we go back to week 13, and we start in Thanksgiving. The first game in the Thanksgiving window was the Chicago Bears at the Detroit Lions. 23-20, the Bears lose this one. They had an opportunity to at least tie it late, but a stupid sequence at the end of the game cost the Bears. Matt Eberflus, head coach, his job. He loses his job the next day. Bears couldn't do anything in the first half of this game. Detroit led 16-0 on 3 Jesse Bates field goals and a 3-yard touchdown pass from Jared Goff to Sam Laporta. Lions led 23-7 going into the fourth quarter in this game. Keenan Allen and DJ Moore touchdown receptions has the game down to 23-20 with 5:36 to go. Ensuing drive, Lions go 3 and out. But they punt it down to the 1-yard line. Chicago's starting on the 1-yard line. They have all 3 timeouts, though. Bears have all 3 timeouts. Keep that in mind. They have to go 99 yards. Caleb Williams marches Chicago up the field. A 29-yard BS pass interference call on Detroit gives them a chance. The ball was uncatchable, but yet the call stood anyway. Interestingly enough, weird stuff like that definitely never happens in the NFL ever. 43 seconds left after Chicago takes its second timeout. Next play, Chicago takes a hands-to-the-face penalty, backs them up to the Detroit 35-yard line. Then Williams takes a bad sack, which he is prone to do. Sorry, DJ. He's going to be good, but he takes a lot of bad sacks. Backs them up to the 41-yard line. When he gets up off the ground, Chicago still has 1 timeout. They still have 1 timeout. There's like 26, 27 seconds left. It's 3rd and 26. But they're just out of field goal range, right? This should be a 59-yarder from where they're at. They only need 8-10 yards max to get them into good field goal range. Williams is pointing at his head. He's barking out orders. He's waving his hands. He's doing all sorts of stupid crap. No one's calling a timeout. The kid must have forgotten that he had a timeout, right? But he's a rookie quarterback. He's a rookie. Help him out. Call the damn timeout from the sidelines. What are you doing? No one calls the timeout. The kid's hanging himself. Finally, he's in the shotgun. There's 5 seconds left on the clock when he snaps the ball, and he takes a shot to the end zone to Rome Odunze in double coverage. It falls incomplete. Ball game. Detroit wins, and Chicago leaves a timeout on the board. Unbelievable. I'm sitting there with my dad watching this thing. I'm going, that's one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. That is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen on a football field. It's incredible. And I'm texting other people, it's like, Happy Thanksgiving. You see that stupid crap? And like 3 people get back to me. They're like, I can't believe that. Incredible. Naturally, Matt Eberflus, coach of the Bears, or former coach of the Bears, apparently acted like nothing happened in the locker room afterwards. And apparently some of his players didn't like that very much. He also doubled down on that in the press conference afterwards. He was fired the next day on Black Friday. Caleb Williams, 256 yards in this game, 3 touchdowns, all in the second half. DJ Moore, 8 catches, 97 yards, and a touchdown on 16 targets. Sonic and Knuckles for the Lions. David Montgomery, 21 carries, 88 yards. Jahmyr Gibbs, 9 carries for 87, but lost a crucial fumble. And Amon-Ra St. Brown, 5 catches for 73. Next up for these 2 teams, the Bears travel to San Francisco in what is surely will not be an easy spot for them and their new interim coach, 425 on Sunday. And the Lions host the Green Bay Packers tonight on Thursday Night Football. That one will be one to watch. Rapid fire rundown's about to get more rapid. Last 2 games on Thanksgiving. Dallas Cowboys 27. They beat the Giants 27-20. Cowboys improve to 5-7. Cowboys fall to 2-10. Dallas led 27-10 after 3. Was not a very entertaining or competitive game in this one. The Dallas defense did look good. Drew Lock, who was making his first start of the season here for the Giants, he was under constant pressure in this one. He was sacked 6 times and he was hit 14 damn times. Sometimes it's a tough life being a quarterback in the NFL, right? You threw for 178 yards, lost a fumble, and threw an interception. Did not throw a touchdown. Did have a rushing touchdown. Tyrone Tracy also 32 yards and a touchdown for the Giants. Rico Dowdle, 22 carries, 112 yards for the Cowboys. And CeeDee Lamb, just 2 catches for 39 yards on 6 targets. He missed the entire second half. Dallas never disclosed the injury, but he did not go back in the game. All of a sudden, Dallas is motivated again, and they are now 2-2 without Dak Prescott. Well, the win on Thanksgiving, not that impressive. The win over Washington the week before certainly was. Cooper Rush completing just over 60% of his passes, 1,008 pass yards, 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and 4 starts. Next up, Dallas will host Cincinnati, and the Giants will host the New Orleans Saints in what I believe will be the lowest scoring game of the week next week. We finish out the Thanksgiving slate with the Miami Dolphins going up to the Green Bay in sub-freezing temperatures. You know how this one's going to go. It is the Green Bay Packers 30, Miami 17. Packers improved to 9-3. Dolphins dropped to 5-7. Dolphins in the cold weather equals no chance. Tua Tagovailoa, who played really well in this game actually, but is now 0-8 in games in his career where temperature is 45 or below at kickoff. That is a true stat. Green Bay led this game 24-3 at halftime and 27-3 until 2:43 left in the third. Tua, he played very well, 37 out of 46 in this game, 365 yards and 2 touchdowns for him. Devin Achane did not do really jack on the ground, but he did have 8 catches for 56 yards and a touchdown through the year. Tyreek Hill, 6 catches for 83 yards and a touchdown. Jonnu Smith, 10 catches for 113 yards for Miami. Into his career, Miami scores 16.5 points per game and allows 32.1 points per game when temperatures are 45 or below. That is not Tua's complete fault. For the Packers, Jordan Love, nice game for him, 28 out of 21 out of 28, 274 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks for him. Both touchdowns were caught by Jaden Reed. Tucker Kraft added 6 catches for 78 yards, the tight end, and Josh Jacobs had 43 yards on 19 carries on the ground. He added a touchdown there. We just mentioned that Green Bay will be at Detroit tonight on Thursday Night Football. Well, the Dolphins will host the Jets, who may have quit on the season by this point, on Sunday at 1 p.m. Miami at 5-7 has not been eliminated from playoff contention yet. We will get into that a little bit later. Rapid Fire Rundown continues. Black Friday, we had another game. It was Chiefs and Raiders, just like last year. Kansas City, 13.5-point favorites in this game. Instead, they should have lost. They were gifted a win when a penalty call was changed from a false start to an illegal shift at the end of the game. The false start means the play is dead. There was a fumble on this play. After the play was over, it was changed to an illegal shift. That doesn't happen. That's not supposed to happen, but that's what the refs did. The fumble would have standed. It did stand, and it ended the chances there for the Raiders. Chiefs get like their 5th gift in 12 games here in 2024. 19-17 the final. They improved to 11-1. Raiders dropped to 2-10. The takeaway from this game is that the tight end for the Raiders, Brock Bowers, is the best tight end to come out since Rob Gronkowski. That is a fact. That is not an opinion. This kid is incredible. He is a stud on the season. For the game, there are my lights again. 10 carries, it's like it agrees with me on that take. You know, it's going to go away again. Ugh, I should have changed the damn light bulb. 10 catches for 140 yards for this kid and a touchdown on 14 targets. For the season, Bowers has 84 catches for 884 yards in 12 games. The real deal, because he hasn't had a good quarterback throwing to him yet. Next up for Kansas City, they have a tough one on Sunday Night Football against the Chargers of Los Angeles. And Vegas will travel to Tampa Bay on Sunday at 1 o'clock. We continue the Rapid Fire Rundown. It is this time, it is those same Chargers that I just mentioned. They travel to Atlanta in a game that I thought the Falcons would win, but Kirk Cousins was dog doo. 4 interceptions for Kirk Cousins in this game, including one late that sealed it on a pick 6. Chargers win. The Falcons were winning the game 13-10 at the time. Chargers win it 17-13. 8-4 go the Chargers, and the Falcons drop to 6-6. Kirk Cousins in his last 3 games is averaging 241 pass yards per game. He has no passing touchdowns, and he has 6 interceptions. You can't win like that with your quarterback playing like that. Bijan Robinson, 26 carries for 102 yards and a touchdown. He added 6 catches for 33. Drake, London Bridge is not falling down. 9 catches, 86 yards on 16 targets for him. 16 targets for Drake London. 9 catches for 86 yards. And Ray McLeod, 4 catches for 94. On the flip side for for the Chargers, Justin Herbert only had 147 yards passing. Lad McConkey had 9 receptions for 117 of those 147 yards. Chargers won this game with 187 yards of total offense and only 24:05 time of possession. Kirk Cousins is killing the Falcons right now. As we just mentioned, next up, Chargers go to Kansas City on Sunday Night Football. That's going to be a good one. And Atlanta in a Kirk Cousins return game to Minnesota Sunday at 1 o'clock. We keep it moving in the rapid fire rundown, folks. Next up, Seattle Seahawks at the New York Jets. Seahawks eke this one out 26-21. They improved to 7-5. Jets dropped to 3-9. Jets led 14-0 after the first quarter and 21-7. Yes, the Jets led 21-7 over the Seahawks with 10:40 left in the first half. Jets had a 99-yard kickoff return, foiled 3 minutes later by an Aaron Rodgers pick six that was returned 92 yards. The Jets, as bad teams tend to have, 12 penalties in this game. Total yards, 259 to 258. Seahawks had one more. Zach Charbonnet got the game-winning touchdown for Seattle with 5:31 left in the game from 4 yards out. Jets got it back with 5:25 left in their own 28. Rodgers goes 6-9 on the drive, but also takes 2 sacks. 4th and 15 for the Seattle 34 with 39 seconds to go. As a deep shot to Garrett Wilson falls incomplete. Rodgers takes another hit, has to be helped up. Seattle hangs on, 26-21. Jets fall to 3-9. Next up, Seattle in a crucial division battle that'll be one to watch in Week 14 at Arizona. Jets travel to Miami. Good bounce back spot for the Dolphins there. We continue. We get divisional action this time. It is the Houston Texans at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Texans, they were favored by 3.5. They sneak by in this one. 23-20 the final. They improved to 8-5, a fraudulent 8-5. The Jags dropped to 2-10. Azeez Al-Shaair, a linebacker who is known for some dirty hits in his career so far, levels Trevor Lawrence just after Lawrence began to slide on a play. Lawrence ends up concussed and carted off. I believe his helmet also flew off too. Al-Shaair suspended 3 games for this hit. In the end, a lot of people outraged about that. It did start a brawl in this game, as you might expect it would. Houston was up 23-6 before Mac Jones. That's right, Mac Jones. Elite Mac Jones. He's back. 2 scoring drives of 72 and 84 yards, respectively, led by Mac. Could you say return of the Mac? Return of the Mac. Yeah, anyway. Texans get it back with 3:31 left and are able to run enough clock out. Fraud Texans win another close one. CJ Stroud, 242 yards and just 1 touchdown. Joe Mixon, 20 carries for 101 yards and a score for him. Mac Jones, 20 out of 32 for 235 yards and 2 touchdowns. PJ Washington, the kick returner for the Jags with a nice day. 6 catches, 103 and a touchdown for him. Brian Thomas Jr., 4 catches for 76 yards and a touchdown for him. Next up, Jacksonville and Tennessee will play in a game in Tennessee that will possibly have quite a lot to do with the number 1 pick in next year's draft. Houston hits the bye at 8-5. And I do, again, guys, apologize for the lighting in this video. I will try to color correct it. It doesn't look great right now. I'm going to try to bring up the brightness a little bit in post. Don't mind that. Just focus on the content at hand. We just talked about the Tennessee Titans. They travel to Washington to take on the Commanders, and the Commanders commanded the crap out of the Titans in this game, folks. Washington wins at 42-19. They improved to 8-5. Titans dropped to 3-10. Commanders led 28-0 until 23 seconds left in the first half when Will Levis hit Nick Westbrook-Ikhine for a 27-yard touchdown. He had 2 touchdowns in this game, and Westbrook-Ikhine now has 8 touchdowns in his last 8 games. That is pretty impressive for a guy that doesn't average more than 2 catches a game. Closest Tennessee got was a 15-point deficit in this one. Jaden Daniels, 206 yards, 3 touchdowns and an interception. Also added 34 yards on the ground and a touchdown for Washington. They ran it all over Tennessee in this one. No Austin Eckler, no problem. Brian Robinson Jr., 16 carries for 103 yards and a touchdown. And Chris Rodriguez stepping in for Eckler, 13 carries for 94 yards and a touchdown for him. Terry McLaurin continues to have his breakout season with Jaden Daniels at the command. 8 catches for 73 and 2 touchdowns for him. Zach Ertz, 3 catches for 35 yards and another touchdown for Ertz. I believe that's 3 and 4 games for him as well, folks. Washington, 463 total yards in this game. They had the ball for 40 minutes and 13 seconds. As we just said, Tennessee will host Jacksonville next week, and Washington is on the bye. Now we got a couple of tight ones that we'll get to here, and that will close out the 1 o'clock window with, guys, in the rapid fire rundown. It is the Minnesota Vikings barely, and I mean barely, hanging on to beat. And I don't mean hanging on. They squeaked this one out. That's a better way of putting it. They beat the Arizona Cardinals 23-20. 2. Vikings go to 10-2 on the season. Cardinals fall to 6-6. The teams combined for 6 field goals. Arizona led 12-6 until a 15-yard touchdown from Kyler Murray to Marvin Harrison Jr. put Arizona up 19-6. With 4:37 left in the third, not looking so good for Minnesota there, but they would quickly answer with a 4-yard touchdown pass from Big D, Sam Darnold, baby. Once again, to Johnny Munt, 3 minutes and 20 seconds later. The fourth quarter saw mostly nothing. Teams traded field goals once again, with Arizona going up 22-16 with 3:20 to go after Chad Ryland. Remember Chad Ryland, Pats fans? 5th field goal of the day, and Sam Darnold, baby, leads the Vikings on an 8-play, 70-yard drive. He goes 5 for 8 for 57 yards on the drive, delivers a game-winning 5-yard touchdown pass to Aaron Jones with 1:13 to go. Cardinals have one more shot at it. Kyler Murray throws an interception almost immediately. Minnesota escapes it 23-22. Darnold has a 21 for 31 day, 235 yards, 2 touchdowns for Sam. He was sacked 5 times on the season. The resurgence, or really the career year for Sam Darnold, 67.6% completion percentage, 2,952 yards, 23 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions. Justin Jefferson, 7 catches for 99 yards. Jordan Addison, 4 for 54. On the other side for Arizona, Kyler Murray, 260 for a touchdown and 2 interceptions and 48 yards on the ground. James Conner, 68 yards rushing. Marvin Harrison Jr., 5 catches for 60 yards and a touchdown for him. And the tight end, Trey McBride, 12 more catches for Arizona on the season. Trey McBride, the very good tight end for Arizona. He has 73 catches for 781 yards and 0 touchdowns. Welcome to 2024. Minnesota, as we mentioned before, they will host Atlanta next week in the Kirk Cousins return game. And Arizona will be hosting Seattle in what will be a very important game for the NFC West. We continue to move along in a rapid fire rundown. It's the Pittsburgh Steelers, 44, beating the Cincinnati Bengals 38. Steelers go to 9-3. They were underdogs in this game, as I recall. Cincinnati drops to 4-8. This game opened up by Russell Wilson throwing a pick 6 in this game, 2:03 into the game. Then the two teams combined to score offensive touchdowns on the next 5 possessions. Joe Burrow lost a fumble that led to a scoop and score by Peyton Wilson to put Pittsburgh up with 41-24 with 11:06 to play. Cincinnati would score on the next possession. Pittsburgh would add a field goal to make it 44-31. Cincinnati gets back with 3:53 to go and goes 64 yards in just a minute and 14 seconds to score. Onside kick fails. Bengals use their last timeout with 4:43 to go, so all Pittsburgh needs to put it away on their last drive is 1 first down. They get it on a 7-yard run by Justin Fields. It was poorly defended by the Bengals. Pittsburgh wins the wild one, 44-38. Joe Burrow, 28 out of 38 for 309 yards, had 3 touchdowns, but also an interception and lost 2 fumbles. Those 2 lost fumbles led to 13 points for Pittsburgh. Chase Brown, 100 total yards for him and a rushing touchdown. Jamar Chase, 6 catches for 86 yards and a touchdown. T. Higgins, 5 catches for 69 yards and a touchdown. On the flip side for Pittsburgh, Russell Wilson. I guess he wasn't done after all, was he, Sean Payton? 29 out of 38, 414 yards for Russell Wilson, the future Hall of Famer. 3 touchdowns and 1 interception for Mr. Danger Witch. Najee Harris, 16 for 75 on the ground and a score. He added 6 for 54 through the air. George Pickens, 3 catches for 74 yards and a score. And Pat Fryer moved to tight end, 6 for 68 and a score. Next up, Pittsburgh. They host Cleveland, and Cincinnati travels to Dallas in week 14. 3 more to go, 2 we didn't get to. Here's the 2 we didn't get to in week 14. We had the Los Angeles Rams going to New Orleans. They beat the Saints 21-14. Rams improved to 6-6. Saints dropped to 4-8. And the other one that we did not get to, although in fairness, it was a pretty good game that the Bucs barely squeaked out by getting a 51-yard field goal to tie it at the very end of regulation and then winning it in overtime. Bucs 26 at Panthers 23. Bucs go to 6-6, and the Panthers drop to 3-9. Those are the 2 that I am not breaking down this week. So sorry about that if those are your teams down in New Orleans or in Kakalaki. I know there's no real Rams fans out there, so sorry. But anyway, we go to, Eagles at Ravens in what probably was the game of the week, or at least the most anticipated game of the week. Eagles, we talked about it on the show last week. They really haven't beaten anybody yet. That's no longer the case. They convincingly beat the Baltimore Ravens. It's 24-19. It was really 24-12. Eagles go to 10-2. Ravens drop to 8-5. Baltimore went up 9-0 with 3:49 left in the first. Justin Tucker missed the point after try. He also missed 2 key field goals in this game. Dallas Goedert with a 17-yard touchdown reception, both Philly to within 2 with 8:04 left in the first half. Their next possession goes 9 plays for 68 yards of results, and it hurts. 1-yard touchdown run. Tucker would make a 50-yard field goal just before halftime, so it's 14-12 Philly at halftime. Game goes scoreless in the third quarter. Fourth quarter, it's Saquon Barkley for 25 yards out to give the Eagles a 9-point lead with 7:56 remaining. Next Baltimore possession ends up in a turnover on downs. Eagles get it back and run the clock down, grinding out 11 plays and only moving it 25 yards. They needed 2 first downs. They managed to run a ton of clock. Baltimore burns all 3 of their timeouts. Jake Elliott's field goal is blocked, but an offside call on the guy who blocked the field goal gives him another chance. He makes the second one, puts the game out of reach. 35-yard is good. 24-12 with 1:03 to go in this game. Baltimore scores a meaningless garbage time touchdown on Lamar Jackson, Isaiah Likely at the end there. 24-19 the final. For Philadelphia, Jalen Hurts only 118 yards passing with a touchdown and 29 yards rushing with a touchdown. Saquon Barkley, 23 carries for 107 yards and a touchdown for him as well. A.J. Brown, 5 catches for 66. On the other side, Lamar Jackson, 237 yards, 2 touchdowns through the air. Derrick Henry, 19 catches for 82. And Mark Andrews, 6 catches for 67 yards and a touchdown of his own. Next week, Philadelphia will host Carolina. And the Baltimore Ravens get their bye week, and they are sitting at 8-5, and a lot of people, including myself, pretty surprised that they've lost 5 games. But here we are. Let's get to another team that's only lost 5 games in 13 weeks. That is the Denver Broncos, and that's much more surprising that they've won 8 out of 13 games so far. This was a crazy game on Monday Night Football, but wait, before I get to that, I forgot I skipped the Sunday night game. That's because the Buffalo Bills beat the bag out of the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers with all sorts of injury problems, and they're playing in the cold, and it's driving snow, lake effect snow in Buffalo. I haven't seen many teams win in that scenario recently. No such luck for the 49ers either here. Buffalo trounces them 35-10. Bills go to 10-2 as they make a bid for the number 1 seed in the AFC. San Francisco drops to 5-7. Bills led this one 28-3 until San Francisco scored their lone TD, which was a 15-yard run by Isaac Guerrero with 2:54 left in the third. 2 drives later, they would fumble it back to Buffalo, and Josh Allen would punch it in with 12:54 to go in regulation. 12:53 to go in regulation. Bills win 35-10. There was a play in the third quarter, I believe, where Christian McCaffrey's calf looked to explode on a non-contact injury. San Francisco saying 6 weeks, but either way, he looks done for the season. In this game, Josh Allen, 13 out of 17 throwing at 148 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had a rush touchdown. And technically, one of his 2 passing touchdowns was to himself after Amari Cooper lateraled it back to him. Go figure. On the ground for the Bills, James Cook, 14 carries for 107 yards and a score. Ray Davis, 11 carries for 63 yards and a score. Brock Purdy, just 11 out of 18 for 94 yards. He had a shoulder problem going into this game. Jordan Mason had 13 carries for 78 for San Francisco, but also was placed on the IR after the game with McCaffrey. Next up, San Francisco will host the Chicago Bears, and Buffalo will travel to the LA Rams on Sunday. So there you go. Last one from week 13 here, guys, and it was a wild one, as I was starting to get to. The Denver Broncos, they beat the Cleveland Browns 41-32 in a game that nobody saw having that many points, so maybe even more than half that many points. Broncos improved to 8-5. Browns dropped to 3-9. Browns probably would have won this game too, but 2 pick sixes from Jameis Winston ice it for Denver. Denver was up 34-32 with 2:54 to go after a field goal. Winston then comes out and throws a 44-yard pick six for Denver to seal it. And then with the game out of reach, he went back out there and threw yet another interception. Winston, at least it's fun with him. And yeah, he's not a great person either, but, you know, I guess at least for the Browns fans, it's more calamity for them than it's just pure misery. 34 out of 58 for Winston, 58 pass attempts, 497 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions for him. Jerry Jeudy, career, not dead. Jameis Winston has revived it. 9 catches for 235 yards for Jerry Jeudy. He scores a touchdown. Big revenge game against the Broncos, the team that drafted him. With Winston as the starting quarterback in 5 games, Jerry Jeudy, 33 catches for 614 yards and 2 touchdowns. David Njoku, 9 catches for 52 yards and 2 scores for him. And Nick Chubb added a receiving touchdown as well. For the Broncos, Bo Nix, 294 yards and a touchdown and 2 interceptions for him. Jaleel McLaughlin took over as the lead running back in this game for Denver, and what's been a kind of a carousel for them for the last 5 weeks. 14 carries for 84 yards for him. Cortland Sutton, 6 carries, 6 catches for 102 yards. And Marvin Mims Jr., 3 catches, 105 yards, and the touchdown. The touchdown was a 94-yard touchdown. Denver hits their bye week at 8-5 and exceeding everyone's expectations. Kudos to Sean Payton, getting the most he can out of a rookie quarterback in that roster. Cleveland travels to Pittsburgh. That is the Week 13 rapid fire rundown. And folks, that was rapid. So
Jason Tatum me already.
We got a few games here for the Week 14 ones to watch, and I'm just going to get into it. This is a quick show. How about that? It's a quick show for you guys today. So Week 14 ones to watch. Originally, I only had 3. I added in the NFC West game because it is interesting, just, But obviously, first one's tonight. It's Green Bay at Detroit. Green Bay, 3.5-point underdogs in this game. They are obviously on the road. For whatever reason, I like them tonight. Green Bay, 4-1 on the road. They've won 6 out of their last 7. They are allowing just 17 points per game in that 7-game span. Of course, their only loss was to Detroit at home. It's just a gut feeling. Detroit's a better team. I think Green Bay's winning this game tonight, just to make it interesting. Okay, next one to watch. We have the LA Chargers at the Kansas City Chiefs. They are 4-point dogs. Despite the fact that the Chiefs are 11-1, they are not playing that well. That is a fact. That is not an opinion. I think the Chargers win this game outright. KC, frauds. But hopefully for the Chargers' sake, it's not close. Like you better be up by 10 in the last 2 minutes is what I'm saying. Chargers have won 5 of 6. They've only allowed more than 17 points 3 times in 12 games so far. But Kansas City did win that first meeting 17-10 in Week 4. So both of these divisional games that I've just mentioned, I think the road team will get their revenge and even it up. Doesn't seem likely, but hey, you never know. Next one, Kirk Cousins returns to Minnesota. Atlanta desperately needs a win as the Tampa Bay Bucks, although they do have the tiebreaker over the Bucks as they beat them twice already this year. But Tampa Bay has tied that division up at 6-6. Atlanta, 5.5-point dogs in this one. They have no chance in this game at Minnesota. Minnesota 10-2. If Kirk Cousins is going to play like he has the last 3 or 4 weeks, they have no shot. But something tells me, returning to Minnesota, something tells me Kirk Cousins is going to just pull one out of his ass because Kirk Cousins sometimes does that. But if he doesn't have a stellar game, Minnesota's going to win that one. And finally, Seattle, 7-5, 2.5-point dogs at Arizona, 6-6. A win here for Seattle means they control the NFC West with what would be 4 games left in the season. A win for Arizona would keep things wide open as the Rams are also sitting at 6-6. So it's definitely a crucial game for that division. And don't forget, despite the fact that San Francisco is basically being held together with Elmer's glue and duct tape, they're just another game back of the Rams in Arizona. So that is the Week 14 ones to watch. Now, we are starting to get towards the end of the season, guys. So from now on, and I think we may ditch the tiers segment next week. So Josh, just pay attention to this because I know when you're not on the show, I know you watch and you listen, and I appreciate it. I think we might start just breaking down the standings from now on because it makes more sense, right? So through 14 weeks, we're going by conference here. Now, I will put up a cute little graphic so you don't have to just like watch me explain this and just spit out a bunch of numbers. I'll put up a graphic for this. But through 14 weeks in the AFC, Kansas City, number 1, 11-1. Buffalo is number 2 at 10-2, but they own the tiebreaker over Kansas City should Kansas City fall a game back. Pittsburgh sits at 9-3 in first, and the AFC South leading Houston Texans are the 4th seed at 8-5. The 3 wild cards all have 8 wins right now. Top heavy in the AFC. Really top heavy in both conferences, but especially the AFC here. Chargers at 8-4 are the 5 seed. Baltimore is 8-5, but they own the tiebreaker over both Denver, who is 8-5, and they sit in 7th, and they also own the tiebreaker over the Chargers. So it's important for the Chargers to keep winning as well. And those are your 7 playoff teams currently in the AFC. And the remaining teams in the hunt in the AFC, it's down to 3. Everyone else has been eliminated. Indianapolis at 6-7, Miami at 5-7, and yes, the Cincinnati Bengals at 4-8 have not been eliminated just yet. The NFC is a little bit more money, okay? Let's go over to the NFC. Number 1 seed, Detroit, 11-1. Philadelphia, 10-2. And then it gets real muddy because you have the Seattle Seahawks leading the NFC West at 7-5. The Atlanta Falcons owning the tiebreaker over the Tampa Bay Bucks, sitting at 6-6, leading the NFC South. And here are your 3 wild cards. Minnesota at 10-2 is the 5 seed. Green Bay at 9-3 is the 6th seed. Washington at 8-5, and now starting to look like they will make the playoffs. They are the 7th seed at 8-5. Here is the long list of teams that are not yet mathematically eliminated in the NFC. You ready? Tampa Bay, 6-6. Arizona, 6-6. Rams, 6-6. 49ers, 5-7. Dallas, 5-7. Thanks to a 2-game winning streak, Dallas no longer out of the mix just yet. They're playing hard for McCarthy. And the New Orleans Saints at 4-8, and the Chicago Bears at 4-8. Although for the Bears, it's extreme. I mean, you're 4-8. You're not making the playoffs. But I'm just saying, mathematically, not eliminated yet. By the way, in the NFC, it would be the first time that 3 teams from the NFC North have made it to the playoffs in the same season. And it looks very, very likely that that is going to happen. So that would be pretty cool in that purpose. So we have gone through week 13 in the NFL Rapid Fire Rundown. We have gone through ones to watch in week 14, including the game tonight. That's going to be a great game tonight. I look forward to that. And we've gone through the conference standings through 14 weeks. We've done the NFL. I already told you, we're giving the Bruins and the Celtics a break this week. This is a quick episode because, as you know, the thorough, long, and frankly, maybe even better episodes lie when I bring Josh on the show and we do the whole thing. So next week, we'll probably, not a great slate of games next week. So we will talk more about the Bruins and Celtics next week, you New England fans. But there is one New England team I do want to talk about, and it's the Boston Red Sox. And it pertains to one 26-year-old left-handed slugger, an outfielder named Juan Soto. The Red Sox try, and they are actually trying. Somehow, he does not end up in Boston. I'm calling it now. By all accounts, the Red Sox are willing to spend the money. I have gone back on everything that I said about them over the summer and even into the fall. My thought personally, and I think it's more than this, right? It's going to take a minimum, I said minimum, of 12 years and $600 million to command the 26-year-old Soto, who I believe is a future Hall of Famer. And honestly, if you're not paying, if you watch today's current game of baseball, you know this kid is probably on that trajectory, right? Initial rumors were that he would make his decision before the winter meetings end. Well, that's exactly 1 week from today on December 12th. He has not signed yet. Rumors are, and again, a lot of rumors and a lot of speculation here, but rumors are that he has a heavy Dominican influence to sign in Boston. Supposedly, he has met multiple times with David Ortiz. Maybe even Pedro Martinez, and I've heard even Dustin Pedroia has met with the kid. It's also been said that he was a fan of the Red Sox growing up as a kid. And it makes sense given all the Dominican elite talent that we had here in Boston for all those years. Now, these are sweepstakes and this is free agency. So, other teams rumored to still be in the mix include the New York Mets, the New York Yankees, who he played for last year, as well as Toronto, and of course, the most insufferable baseball team on the planet right now, the Los Angeles Dodgers. Somehow they remain in the mix. That's probably because, and this is not a joke, this is real, they are deferring over $1 billion worth of salary to their current players after their players' contracts run out and they sell the team sometime in the next decade. That is true, and that's what keeps them in every single discussion. If it's actually true. Because supposedly, this kid wants to be the face of a franchise. It makes sense. He would be the best player on all but one of them that I just mentioned. He's better than Aaron Judge. He is. Yankees fans, he is. He's better than Francisco Lindor. He's better than Vlad Jr. I don't think he's better than Mookie Betts, but he will be in like 2 years when Mookie's like 34. He's not better than Shohei Ohtani. He doesn't pitch, right? Nobody's better than Shohei's the best player on the planet. I think we can all agree on that one. He wants to be the face of an organization. Well, if that's true, Boston's the only team that makes sense. Tell me I'm wrong, because you can't, right? In every other scenario, he's either in a shadow, such as with Aaron Judge in New York, even though he's a better player, and Francisco Lindor with the Mets, even though he's a better player, still in the shadow. Or he's in a tandem, like with Vlad Jr., but honestly, Soto's a better player, but I'm just saying, marketability, tandem. Or you're in a stat group with future Hall of Famers in LA. So, and obviously I'm talking about Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, and Freddie Freeman. Those guys are all lock Hall of Famers. So, if it were actually true that he wants to be the face of a franchise and that the Red Sox have been as aggressive with their financial offers as a lot of insiders have claimed to be, why hasn't he signed here yet? Right? What? He should be here. So, is it just a bidding war? Because that's what we'd like to believe. Because if Sam Kennedy, the president of the Red Sox, is to be believed, they're willing to go over that luxury tax. They got a lot of room to get to it. Do you really think that these guys will offer this kid a $700 million contract? Because it might take that much. It might. To me, and listen, if I'm wrong and they get this kid, I'd probably forgive them for Mookie Betts. Probably would. I think a lot of other people would too. You almost have to forgive them for Mookie Betts, right? Because they realized they screwed up, and yeah, maybe it took 5 years, but they fixed it. This is a 26-year-old kid. Career OBP is over 400. Does everything well except really field, but stick him in front of the monster like he did with Manny and just watch the results at the plate. Listen, it's not my money, but that's a load of money, right? Do you think they're going to go to 700? I don't know. That's like 57 million a year. Something doesn't feel right here. Something's off. If the Red Sox are doing everything to let you know through the grapevine, and they are, they're doing everything to let you know that they are trying like hell to get this guy here, to the point where even I believe them. Why isn't he here? It doesn't seem like it's going to happen. It would make sense. It should happen. Hopefully we'll have an answer next Tuesday on the Toronto Dome. Josh Morris is back with me on the show, folks. That is the show. Of course, my name is Scott. Thank you all so much. Please leave more comments. More comments on YouTube. I know you guys You have accounts on YouTube. Please leave comments. Please like, please subscribe. They don't even have to be positive comments. I can take the heat. Throw some heat at me, okay? Give me something. Just thank you guys so much for the support, for watching, for listening, and supporting all the time. It's been great. We will look to keep it going. Like I said, next Tuesday, I'll replace this damn light bulb between now and then, and we will be back once again on the Pteranodome. So thanks again. Have a good one.